Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. And if you are a bigot, that is a terrible character flaw. There are other character flaws that are worse, yes, but point being, it is a character flaw. And it is a bright and sunny day. I have been outside, walked over to the community center to say hello to everybody over there, and then came back. It is warmish. It's going to get warmer through the day, but it's pretty windy. Thumbs up for that. So I'm probably going to go for a form of walkies as soon as I finish recording and uploading. I find that now that it's bright and sunny, I want to go out for walkies in the morning when it's bright and sunny again. During the wintertime, I was pretty happy swapping to doing my recording early and not going for walkies. Excuse me. But now, I want to go out for walkies in the sun, so may have to come up with a schedule change. Which happens for all of my recording needs. The pillars and foundations of my mental health, my habit and routine that I and my neurodivergence, I can speak English, require for proper mental functioning. Yay! But I have some things written down up there where once again, oh boy, it is draining because I have to think about it all the time. But I have to think about it all the time with my right leg. I have mentioned how, if these are my feet, if I am standing here looking towards you and these are my feet, and then I rotate my body so that now you're looking at the soles of my feet with my body going that way. It used to be my feet were like this when I walked. And then about 7 years ago, both of my legs pulled in so that they were parallel, like they really should be. And then this one started getting all drifty. Now I have to consciously think about pulling it in, because if I don't, ow. And I know I've mentioned this pretty much every day for the last week, but ow. And the constant effort of having to remember to twist my femur at the hip joint. That's not easy to remember, because it's not just, lean my knee in or twist my foot inward. No, I gotta rotate my femur inward, and that's a lot to remember. Life is life, though. What else do we expect? I can't go complain to the manager. But there are some things that I'm going to write down that I have written down that I wanted to talk about, and really there's not a whole lot. I have had trouble staying awake over the past couple days. I've had this thing going on with my hip is draining just because it hurts so much, and the constant mental thought required to, even now sitting in my chair, I am having to rotate my femur inward. And so I'm having to talk about that while consciously thinking about this at the same time. So I've had a lot of stuff going into that. I have done other things, of course. Keeping these here because I want to play it. I have my medicine and 2 cans of food right here, but I've got the instructions and rule sets for it so that I can play it. So I'm not just doing nothing at all. Bunked into that pretty solid there, didn't I? Let's move that over a little bit. In fact, I'm gonna move this entirely. There, now it's not going to bonk into the base that I'm holding that on. Just other things are falling down instead. And as a minor point that just reminded me, in the drywall in the bathroom, I have 3 drill holes because they've been going through and installing grab bars in the bathrooms. And that's fine if you need help, that's important. And There have been times I've used like this wall that's next to me to grab onto to keep from falling down. Grab bars are good, but he's got a stud finder and he went, okay, right there, drilled and into open space. So use the stud finder, located where it was supposed to be, drilled into the space. And then a third time so I've got 3 drill holes in there, and the guy's no idea what's going on. So he's gonna be back at some point today to get it done. He's been through, like, I'm in unit number D1, and he's been, A through C4, and every single one's been fine. And then gets here, and fool. What? Fool. That's not right. Fool. So, we're going to get it figured out, I hope. But just thought I'd mention that. Because that I'm thinking about, because he could be knocking at any moment. But that's the way that is. I did want to mention this. I have been thinking about and looking at a bunch of... Because I'd mentioned before how I bought, like, the really cheap DOSman games. I mean, they're inexpensive. They're not cheap. They're well done. They are small games, like, barely better than the 8-bit Nintendo graphics stuff, except in a 3-dimensional world. They're good stuff. They're just very, very retro looking and feeling. And these ones, I don't think I've bought a single one of these things that I've really enjoyed that's been even $5. So you can get these things and they're cool. I was watching a channel where there is a game called Unholy. And I only watched a little bit of the actual gameplay. And the person who was talking about it said that the only reason he had done it was because his chat, the comments kept saying, you need to play Unholy, you have to play Unholy. And he's pretty sure that it's a meme game, at least to start with, until he actually started playing. Then the gameplay was pretty solid, but it's called Unholy. I'm not quite sure of the name unless it's ironic, but you playing like vampires, except they're all women vampires, and they're all big titty vampires. And that's okay. I mean, nice art style, and if you're into big titty vampires, that's the game for you. But when they leave the actual close-ups, like when you're going into character choice and you go into gameplay and you go into all this other stuff, it's solid gameplay. So it looks like a meme game. But then when you play it, it's actually a good game. So I'm going to watch more of the gameplay on that and see if it's something that I'd be interested in, because it looks interesting. The gameplay looks fine, and as stated, hey, I'm into a nice big titty vampire, so let's check it out. But at the same time, if it's anything like more than $5 or $10, then no. I still need to buy a chair, and they're like $150. So that's joyous. And that's to get a good one. That's to get a roller type one. I need something that's like gonna be better than the one I've got. So it's got to be more than like a $25 or $30 chair. And with my back and all that, I need something that's actually halfway decent. So I went and called up like business chairs on Amazon, because there's nothing in town. We're a tiny, tiny little place. And they jump from like the $25 or $30 cheapo bar stool type things to $140. And it's like, oh my God, is there? But no. So I haven't bought one. I need to. So I'm going to see about that. Now, where I brought myself up to that, I can't remember why I was talking about that. Why was I talking about that? I can't remember why I was talking about that. It had nothing to do with unholy. So, anyway, though, so because I have gotten confused and frightened, well, confused anyway, I would like to thank the people that played my internet game of Marco and Polo, where I call out Marco into the void, and anyone who hears and chooses to play calls back Polo by writing the secret word into the comments for number one, blatant engagement farming, and number two, yeah, to call back Polo so I can see if who's out there. And who played the game, which it is not a requirement. I wouldn't force people even if I had the power to. Consent is important, even on tiny things. But we have Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up and thank you. Chris 1, thumbs up and thank you. There's Kilbriana 420, who left quite a lot of very in-depth and appreciated comments. I find it exceptionally difficult to answer in anything more than just a sentence or two anymore, fighting all the ADHD and all that in my head. It is hard to write anything anymore, even emails, even comments. And I wanted desperately to be a paid and published writer, and at 62 I find it difficult to write any more than a line or two in comments. I still try periodically to write fiction, and I'm awful at it. Just terrible. It is a struggle to write anymore. I mean, I still think I'm pretty good as a writer, but I can't get anywhere with it because it's a struggle to write even a paragraph. And I don't mean like struggling to come up with words. I've got books in my head. It's being able to push my fingers onto the keyboard and then actually write stuff out. Oh my God. I hate ADHD so much. Gus Garrett, 6838, thumbs up and thank you. Nova, I don't know how to pronounce this, NOVAACRAANE, but thumbs up and thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. We have I Am On The Net. Thumbs up and thank you. There is Toilet Decimator. Oh my gosh. I am still thinking $25 is a lot. But there's that step DLC for the 001 game creator that allows you to make games like Dungeon Master and Legend of Grimrock, and it fits more with the type of game that I've been thinking of on the whole Toilet Decimator idea. Problem is, number one, $25. And number two, my ADHD. I have no ideas how to run the thing. And when I've tried to, well, when it talks about like placing objects in the environment for the player characters to work with, it says the better way to do that, if you want to place a lot of things like walls and stuff, is don't place objects because they snap to the grid a lot. Instead, place an actor, a character into the world, and then you can rotate them in the angle you want, and then apply the texture you like to their abdomen. Okay, will do. So it's rough. We have Leo Tom Music, thumbs up and thank you. There's Perdee, P-E-R-D-E-E-E, greatly appreciated. And last but very not least, that was hardly English. Last but not least, we have Jack Dash 05Z2J. Thumbs up and thank you, each and every one of you. Greatly appreciated. And if you have actually watched this far, for the secret word, if you could write yams into the comments for blatant engagement farming, and to let me know that people are Polo calling back from the void. That would be very cool. Again, not a requirement, but if you do, it is appreciated. Thumbs up and thank you. I've turned out that I love yams. Oh my gosh. Yams are so good. You should try them. If you haven't. And if you have and you don't like them, don't force yourself. But if you haven't and you've never thought of it, give it a shot. You may be surprised. Okay, up here, I wanted to talk about this because I only got to talk about this a little bit, and I only got to talk about part of what I wanted to talk about yesterday. And that is with the 3 different species on the continent of Carthcog, and how aging and such is for everybody there. Because I mentioned yesterday, I did a quick run through because I didn't have a lot of time on what basically some of the women of the various races, well, species of the Hulat, the people, are on the continent of Carthcog, with the Apani, who are they average 4'8", the Habani, who average 5'8", and the Orkani, who average 6'8". There is a range, of course. That's anywhere from like 6'2" to 7'2" is the range of height on the Orkani, and 5'2" to 6'2", something like that for the Habani, and 4'2" to 5'2" or some such for the Apani. But if you took let's just go with 23 and like 37 and 55 as the ages, because I'd mentioned, young, and among the Apani you move upward in the household until at like 55 you're in charge of the household, and then after that you move on into being into the grandparents role, where you're basically in charge of imparting wisdom onto the children, helping to raise the children, and then you finally wither away and die, as all of us do. But if you took at age 23 for the Apani, whether or not you have a man or woman there, both are going to have pretty wide hips, though the woman is going to have wider hips. She is also going to have a much broader backside. But they're not going to be incredible. But as stated, he's still going to have thick thighs himself, and a thick belly, and a standard 23-year-old, very healthy Apani, the kind of fellow who could lift up like a hay bale and toss it onto a cart. Just the sort of thing you see on a farm, like traditionally throughout all time that there's been hay bales. He's still going to have a pot belly, that thick waist. He's still going to look like he's going to need like an A cup, or he is an A cup or B cup. They're just plumper. They live on farms. They're excellent farmers. It's excellent farmland. They know how to grow crops. There's no shortage of food, and they're always having festivals. So yeah, they've all got a healthy amount of calories to eat. And then, of course, as stated for her, she's got very thick thighs and very wide childbearing hips, a thick waist, kind of chesty. And then at 30, like what was it, 37, 38? Yeah, both of them are getting thicker. She's getting thunder thighs by this time and is very broad on the backside, getting pretty chesty. They're both heavy. You're putting on weight everywhere. And of course, he, by this time, same deal. Got quite a pot belly going. They never grossly obese. They get very plump. But they don't get fat as we would think of it, where they look, They never get like more than 100 pounds overweight. But even at 100 pounds overweight, by the time you hit 55, that's pretty heavy duty for the Apani. That's when, she's got the very thick thunder thighs and a very broad backside, and is exceptionally chesty. And where he is, well, he's pretty heavy up here, got a heavy belly, the thick thighs as well. So it goes across. And of course, the Habani Again, look at Habani in the world. They're basically us, except the other species. So, what do men look like among the Habani? Look among men now, except imagine that their teeth are slightly larger and their jaws are slightly bigger, and everyone has some form of some place of origin on the South American continent in skin tone color. Same amongst the women of the Habani. Now, among the Orkani, both men and the women are. Now, when I say they average 5'8", it's like the men would average 5'8", the women would average 5'7". Among the Alpani, men average 4'8", the women average 4'7", and among the Orkani, the men average 6'8", and the women average around 6'7". And they both get thicker as they get older. Both the men and the women amongst the Orkani, you pack on weight. And even though it's hard for the Orkani to get fat, they are naturally fit and toned, and they just don't have a lot of body fat. They can't really pack it on even if they wanted to, but as they get older, it happens. And yeah, even the Orkani, they start getting a bit of a pot belly. She might be getting a bit broad in the backside. He might be getting a bit of a dump truck too. She's starting to get a bit chesty, and yeah, he's probably getting the need for something as well. It's hard to say. They're all just people, and it's genetic. But yeah, they're all just people. But I try to imagine what the various times and such are about what they would all look like. Again, were I trying to write this up into a book, this is something that I wouldn't even really talk about. It would be something that you would like show. If you put up a picture next to a stat block, you might put up a picture of a young Apani. And then later on, you might have a middle-aged Habani. And then in another picture, show an older Orkani. Never have to actually talk about it. Just show it. Not just once. Make a point of it so that, this is what the younger Apani that are walking around. This is what the medium-aged Apani. This is what the older. You don't have to talk about it if you have the art to show it. Now, on the other hand, I can't draw, which is another one of the reasons that as much as I would like to make a video game, even using the 001 game creator, I have zero art skills. And with my nerve compression making my hands less and less useful all the time, I'm never going to be able to really become an artist, especially on the digital level. So, am I going to actually do anything with the game? I don't know. Might not. Might do it like in the Kingdom of Loathing style, where it's all just horrible line art with stick people. Thumbs up for that. Checking up there to see what's left. There is plenty, but at 23 minutes in, hey, call to action time. If you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that'd be very cool. Greatly appreciated. And if you are a Patreon patron, you are a beautiful and awesome person in every way. But I'll only mention 4 for right now because I could be here all day. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Thumbs up and thank you. If you've left me a comment, greatly appreciated. I read every comment that YouTube shows me. I thumbs up or heart every comment that YouTube lets me, and I answer as many as my nerve compression will allow, which is nowhere near as many as I would like, but it's better than 0. I can take up to 30 hours to answer a comment, so if you actually are expecting a response, keep checking in. I'm sorry it takes that long, but I can only do what I can do. I'm going to edit, render, upload. I have some bills still left to pay, so hopefully I'm going to get those done. That would be a good thing, I think. And then I'm just going to take care of myself. I haven't taken my meds yet. I took my blood pressure med. I haven't taken my other meds yet. That's the only one that's you need it to stay alive med. I have that. That's my only real you need it to stay alive med. Every other med I'm taking is either to treat my ADHD or to help with pain. I'm lucky. I take one med, and I only take that one med because I messed up and took Ritalin, and now my blood pressure needs to be taken care of. I used to have a blood pressure of 113/70. Now, if I don't take blood pressure meds, it's like 190/100. Lovely. Anyway, though, hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done. That would be very cool. But if not, please do not beat yourself up. You deserve better, and it will not help you get it done better next time. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. And of course, what with it being bright and sunny and me want to go out for walkies, I'm going to be taking my tablet out there. I want to go back into that one drainage field that I recorded like a year and some ago where they had water mint growing down inside of it. Well, the water's come down because what with it all raining, it was part of a drainage field and it was just underwater for like a full month and some, as it's supposed to be. But now it's not again. So I want to go down inside of there and check out the water mint because that's pretty cool. So thumbs up. Anyway, I already said that I'm turning this all off. So here I am continuing to talk. Turn my hand so it's more proper. Thumbs up. You take care.